Right, we're back. On this video I'm going to do now, I'm going to fit the side stand spring and everything and get the side stand sorted. But first, I've not been in for a few days doing out on bike. I've done some work on girlfriend's bike, changed the bar, handlebar controls, etc. And at this moment in time, we're in the middle of the coronavirus lockdown. So it's a shitty thing that's happening all over the world. Everybody's in the same boat type of thing. So hopefully everybody's staying safe. But I'd just like to give a shout out to all these frontline workers like nurses and doctors, ambulance drivers, etc, etc. Everybody that's keeping the country running type of thing. You know, big thumbs up to everybody sort of thing. But yeah, to crack on with this, what I have done without filming it is I've been working out what I want to do on for the spring bracket. So what I'll do is I'll knock you off, I'll bring you in closer and I'll explain what I've been up to as regards to putting the spring on properly, so that the side stand works properly. So I'll knock you off, set you off in a different spot, and then we'll start again. Back in a minute. Right, where I left off last time I was on about I'm going to make a hanger to go like in here for the spring to fasten to. Obviously the spring fastens on here on the side stand, goes to a little bracket, and I was going to put a bracket down here which I actually made, and it was going to go on the front like that. That's the bracket I made. Then because it wouldn't work properly on the front, I then fed it up the back and fastened it on at the back and tried it. It still wouldn't work properly, and then obviously my brain kicked in. I was obviously having brain freeze when I designed this one, but my brain kicked in and realised that you have to have the bracket on that side to for when the stand comes down, so it pulls it and holds it down. The way I had it on there, it was trying to pull the side stand back up. So that was Mark 1 bracket out the window. Also, it needed to be a lot further down. Now, if you look at where the side stand's fitted, and then here I've got the, you know, easy you can see that, but that's the bit where the side stand went in, just there, and you can see how far down, that hole right at the bottom, that's what the spring attaches to. So I realised I'm going to have it a lot lower down, so hence came in Mark 2 bracket. So that's going to fasten up under the back, and as you can see there, it's a lot lower down. So basically I drilled it and shaped it a bit. It's not brilliant, but and then give it a little bit of a polish just so it had a bit of a shine to it. So what we're going to do is get it all fitted up now. So I'll knock you off again, get you set up on the tripod so that it's not shaking about, and then we'll make a start. So I'll be back in a minute. Right, you can see there, I'm going to get round the other side of the camera in a sec. Right, remember I'm working on a tiny screen here, so I'm not 100% what you can see, so I'm going to just poke. Yeah, you can see everything. These two Allen heads here that are holding the side stand bracket on, they need taken back out and Loctited again, because if you remember I Loctited the top ones in but not the bottom. So, but I've took them out because of the way I was fitting it up, etc. So they need re-Loctited. So when I'll get this side on, and then we'll take these two back out and Loctite them in. So to start with, we'll start getting this side put on, get the spring put in place on the stand. So what I'm going to do is, I've got longer screws which will go right through. They'll screw into there, but they'll go right through, and then on the back I'll put a nut and bolt and a lock washer, and obviously some Loctite, and then that plate, wherever it's gone, here it is, that plate it'll be basically bolting on from the back. So to start with, we'll get these two, if I find my Allen key. Right, so I'll just start screwing these in. When they get so far in, I'll put a blob of Loctite on. That's actually the one that should have been in the bottom. Can't find the other one now. What do I do with the other one? There. There's the one so far in on the bottom. Because of the gap I've got at the back, which I'll lift the camera off in a minute and I'll show you the back, but because of the gap I've got, I can't screw them all the way in to start with, because otherwise I won't be able to get the washers and the plate and the nut and etc. on. So, and the threads on that one are not brilliant. They just seem to be a bit tight, but they're not damaged. They just seem to be a bit tight for some reason. But I'll get it through so far. Because of the lack of space, and when the stands, well, you can see there, the stand won't move because the top part is hitting the head of the Allen bolt. So I've got to get that in so far and get the plate in. I might even have to take that should keep it going just a little bit more so I can clear it. That's still just another thread and a half, and I've still got room. That's it. I have to put the get my arm out of the way. I have to put the stand up into that position so that I can get the plate on the back with the spring attached, and then I can pull it back down. But the reason I'm saying that is when the stand's up, I can't get onto that bolt. So it has to be down so I can get in to tighten that bolt up. So, get the spring, new chrome spring, and we'll hook it onto the stand itself. And then I'll hook it onto the bottom, I'll make sure I get that the right way around. Hook it onto the bottom of this plate, as you can see there. And then what I'll do is I'll feed the plate up, get it onto the top. As I say, I've got to pull this round, that's it. And you can see there it's holding the stands. Oh, you could see if I didn't have my arm in the way. The stand it's springing back up into place. But also, if I keep my finger in that, obviously I haven't got the bolts on the back so it moves about a bit, but if I pull the stand down it stays down, whereas when I tried it the other way, when my brain was switched off, it was just flipping the stand back up, it wouldn't stay down. So put that down, back up should I say, for a second, and what I'll do is I'll just feed this bottom bolt through a bit more, because the bottom one I'll be the first one to get the washers and the bolt on. So basically just a plain washer and a lock washer. Getting ahead of myself now. So I'll find me thing. I'm just going to screw this bottom one back out a little bit because I need to put some Loctite on. What I need to do is Loctite it in here so that when it screws into this plate it Loctites itself into there so it's tight. But then in the back, when I'm putting the nut on, sorry, I've got to put a little bit of Loctite on that bit to Loctite the nut on. So I'll just wind this one out a bit so I can get the Loctite on the bolt where it'll actually go into the threads. Don't want to wind it out too far though, because I'll end up the plate will spring off. So I'm just using blue Loctite, and you know the score, you'll have seen me often enough doing this, just a little dab, just a little drop. Right, so that's got a drop of Loctite on it, so now I'll wind that in. But that's enough that it's actually going into the threads now in the plate. So while I still can, because you're very restricted for space on the back of here, in fact I'll just quickly lift it off the tripod and show you. So, turn the camera around because I can't see myself. As you can see, there's the top of the plate, just there, and there's the screw, and that, if I can get my finger in, that there, you can see I can't even get my finger past the bolt because the frame is in the way. So that's, I need to get a washer and the nut onto there, and then screw this top one through a bit more, the same, and get a nut, washers and nut on that bit, and then we can tighten it all up. So I'll put it back on the tripod, and I'll just get the washer and that on the back of this. Plain washer first, then the lock washer, and then the nut. But first I just want to put a dab of Loctite onto that thread. So that, and then feed that up and get it on, get it started at least. Once you've got the nut on, I can then wind the Allen key all the way in, and then wind that nut on a bit more, and then again get the Allen key. See that Allen key now, that's tight in there, in that part where it bolts to the plate. So now on the back I can wind this this nut on. And what I've done is I've put the Loctite on the wrong part of the... So I'll just put another little dab of Loctite on there. Didn't get it, didn't even come out. That's it. And I'm limited for space under here. Just move that foot peg. So it is a bit of a pain in the rear end, getting these nuts on the back tightened up. It doesn't help that the threads aren't 100%. Well, it doesn't help that I'm not getting the spanner on the nut properly either. Right, that's that bottom one tight. So now what I'll do is I'll do the top one, but obviously I need the stand down so that I can access the end of the Allen screw, sorry. And it's the same as the bottom one, I can only take it so far. Done it again, haven't I? I've got to put the Loctite on. So just a little drop. I just need it enough that again so I can get the washer, plain washer, get that on there, and then the lock washer, and that should leave me with a thread that I can get the bolt on, sorry, the nut on. I don't know why I keep calling them bolts. This one's a little bit more tricky because it's harder to get in at. And I'll learn from the mistake on the bottom one is I don't need the Loctite right on the end of the screwed bit. But now I've got that on, I can actually screw that the rest of the way in. And remember that bit there was already Loctited. Get that tight. So that washer pushed in, and then get a drop of Loctite onto the nut. And then wind that one in. And then again, limited for room. And that's now pulling that down tight. And I'll just lift it off here again. Do the screen round, and as you can see in there now, I've got the nuts on locked in place with lock washer and with Loctite, and the plate's up tight. As you can see there, the springs on down onto its stand. So basically, as it all moves around nicely, hodds it up into place, so it bumps up against the, and it doesn't just slam up, which is what I like, because I've had them before where it goes up that hard you think it's going to punch all through it, fucking primary cover, and then it locks back down in place. So the positioning of it was absolutely spot on. So what we'll do now, we'll just quickly whip these out, one at a time obviously. Wrong Allen key. I think it's that one, nope. It's better. Yeah, just nip these ones out, bit of Loctite on again, and then put them back in tight. Well, just a drop, as you know. Get that screwed back in. And then get that nice and tight. I know my arm's in the way at the minute. Come on. So that's tight. Whip this top one out. Double Loctite again. And remember, this is the blue, the medium strength one. that back in place. And it's a pain in the butt. But what I'll do is I'll bring the end out and lock the spanner onto the end of that, so I can get a bit of pressure on it. And that's that tight. And then put the cap back on the Loctite, that is. And there we have. I'll move to this side, zoom out a bit. So now we've got the stand comes up and stays there. You can see it's springing back nicely, but get it to there and it stays. So it's not a case there, it just slips up once it gets to a certain distance. And that goes down, stays down, and then obviously moves up and down for when you put your weight on, sort of thing. So that's the side stand on, sorted, which is good. But it's surprising how much working out that took, because my brain just wasn't switched on at all. A lot going on obviously at the minute, other things, and you know how it is, work, etc. So that's another step. This is just going to be a really short video, just to get, because that's where I left off last time. But since I did put the foot controls on, forward controls, as I say, I've done girlfriend's motorbike, done her handlebars stuff and that. And then we've got this, as I say, this coronavirus carry on. So shit time for everybody really. But yeah, just thought I'd do a short video showing the side stand sorted with the new bracket on it. The original bracket, as I say, didn't work out how I wanted it to. Tough sort of thing, that's how things work. You try one thing, if it doesn't work, try something else. So yeah, just a quick update, let you know where we were at. So I'm going to call it a day on this one. As I say, just a short video. And obviously we'll be back soon and we'll be getting some more of it done. It's not, believe it or not, it's actually not that far away now. It's just a case of me pulling my finger out and getting more done. Alright, but until next time, stay safe, keep your distance from people, remember, and we'll go from there. Catch you later. Right, just a quickie, because I've just seen that I had that hanging off the forward control on the other side. I know I said on that side that that's it for now, because I've seen this I thought I'd just do it. This is the air filter. I'm going to fit the air filter now, because everything in there is done on the on this side of things. So I'll take the screws out, we'll fit the air filter, then we'll Loctite the screws in, but we'll use a low strength Loctite on these screws. But obviously you don't want them vibrating loose. Right, so straightforward enough this. Just get your filter over and make sure it goes just make sure it goes where it's meant to go. So the filter sits on, in place, and then what I shall do is I'll just hang that there for a second, it won't drop off. I've got my low strength Loctite. Now low strength Loctite's like it's almost like a red pinky sort of a colour. So you've got your medium strength, which is blue. This low strength stuff, which is like as I say, a pinky almost even a purpley sort of colour. I'm not that brilliant with it because I'm actually a bit colourblind. And then the high strength stuff's green. So that's how to tell what you've got. Low strength's purpley, reddy, pinky, that colour that I showed you. High strength green, medium strength blue. I'll just get another dab on that one. And it's the same applies, you don't need massive amounts, just a drop. With these ones it's low strength, just to stop them vibrating loose. Because the last thing you want when you're going down the road is your air filter cover bouncing down the road. Because I think it'd be hard to polish the scratches out of that one. And then nip them all up first, so it's all gone in evenly. Centralises itself sort of thing. And then just give them a nip. And that's it, that's the air filter fitted. That part of it's finished with now. So just put my lid back on that. And that is it for tonight. And I'll catch you next time when we do something else. So catch you later.